There's something you need to understand about this feeling you've been carrying. That sense that you're lost, that you've wandered off the path, that everyone else knows where they're going while you're just fumbling through the dark. That feeling isn't telling you the truth. You're not lost. You've never been lost. And this video found you because you're finally ready to understand what's actually happening to you. You're not lost. This is what's happening to you. You're standing exactly where you're supposed to be standing, learning exactly what you're supposed to be learning, becoming exactly who you're supposed to become. And the reason you feel lost has nothing to do with your position and everything to do with your perception. Let me tell you what's really going on. You have an internal compass. We all do. It's built into you. It's been guiding you since the moment you took your first breath. Every instinct you've ever had, every gut feeling, every moment of knowing that something felt right or wrong, even when you couldn't explain why. That's your compass. And here's the thing about that compass. It's never been wrong. Not once. Not ever. It's pointed you toward every lesson you needed to learn, every person you needed to meet, every mistake you needed to make to become who you are. Your internal compass has been flawless, but somewhere along the way, you stopped trusting it. You stopped following it because you were handed a map drawn by other people, your parents, your teachers, society, culture, all these external voices telling you where you should go, what path you should take, what destination makes you successful, what route makes you worthy. And you took that map and you tried to follow it, even when your compass was pointing in a completely different direction. And now you're standing here, holding this map that doesn't match what your compass is telling you. And you're calling yourself lost. But you're not lost. You're just following the wrong navigation system. You're trying to force yourself onto a path that was never designed for you. And every time your compass tries to redirect you, every time your instincts whisper, "This isn't right," every time your gut tells you to turn around, you ignore it. Because the map says keep going. The map says this is the way. The map says if you just push through, if you just work harder, if you just ignore that feeling, you'll eventually arrive at the destination everyone promised you'd want. But here's what nobody tells you about following someone else's map. You can reach every single landmark. You can check off every single milestone. You can arrive at the exact destination the map promised, and you'll still feel lost because you were never meant to be there in the first place. Your compass wasn't pointing that way, and the life you build by ignoring your compass will never feel like home, no matter how impressive it looks on paper. So let me reframe this for you. You're not lost. Lost would mean you don't know where you are, but you do. You're exactly where all your choices, all your experiences, all your learning has brought you. You know precisely where you're standing. The problem isn't that you're lost. The problem is you don't recognize where you are. You don't honor it. You don't accept that this place, this exact spot on your journey, is exactly where you're supposed to be right now. Because you've been so busy comparing where you are to where the map said you should be, that you've never stopped to ask yourself where your compass is pointing. And your compass, it's pointing exactly where it's always been pointing, toward your truth, toward your authentic path, toward the life that's actually yours to live, instead of the one you were told to want. Here's what happens when you finally put down the external map and pick up your internal compass. You stop measuring your position by someone else's landmarks. You stop judging your progress by someone else's timeline. You stop calling yourself lost just because you're not where everyone else said you should be. And you start recognizing that where you are is exactly where your journey has led you. Every detour, every wrong turn, every moment you thought you were wasting time, all of it was your compass recalibrating. All of it was teaching you something the map could never show you. All of it was necessary to get you to this exact moment where you're finally ready to trust your own navigation. And here's the part most people miss. Your compass doesn't point toward some distant future destination. It points toward the present moment. It's telling you what's true right now, what's aligned right now, what's yours to do right now. It's not asking you to have the whole path figured out. It's asking you to take one honest step, one real choice, one authentic move in the direction that actually feels like you. Not the direction that looks good, not the direction that makes sense to everyone else. The direction your compass is pointing. And when you take that step, when you finally honor what your instincts have been screaming at you all along, you don't suddenly arrive at some perfect destination, but you stop feeling lost because you're finally walking your path instead of someone else's. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. You've been doing things that don't align with you because the map said they lead to success. You've been staying in situations that drain you because the map said leaving would be failure. You've been silencing the voice inside you that says, "This isn't right," because the map said keep going. And your compass, it's been going haywire trying to get your attention through anxiety, through restlessness, through that persistent feeling that something's off, through the exhaustion that comes from living out of alignment. Your compass doesn't speak in words, it speaks in feelings. And when you ignore those feelings long enough, when you override your instincts often enough, you start to believe you don't have a compass at all. You start to believe you're just wandering aimlessly, but you're not. Your compass is still there, still functioning, still pointing. You've just been too busy following the map to notice. So here's what needs to happen. You need to stop, right here, right now. Stop trying to figure out where you're supposed to be according to everyone else's plan. Stop measuring yourself against other people's paths. Stop calling yourself lost just because your journey doesn't look like theirs. And start recognizing where you actually are. Not where you wish you were, not where you think you should be, where you are. And from that place of recognition, from that place of acceptance, ask yourself one question. Where is my compass pointing? Not, where does the map say I should go next? Not, where would everyone else be impressed if I went? Where is my compass, my instincts, my truth, pointing me right now? And then here's the radical part. Trust it, even if it doesn't make sense, even if you can't see the whole path, even if it means leaving the map behind and walking into territory you haven't seen before. Trust your compass, because it's the only navigation system that was designed specifically for your journey. Now, if this is landing, if something inside you is tightening, loosening, waking up, if you're recognizing that you've been calling yourself lost when you've actually just been ignoring your compass, I need you to do something. Not later, not when you've thought it through, not when you feel ready, right now. Go to the comments and type 4 words. I recognize where I am. That's it. No explanation, no backstory, no justification, just that declaration. Because there is power in recognition. There is power in naming the truth without dressing it up or defending it. And when you claim recognition instead of lostness, when you honor where you're standing instead of shaming yourself for it, something shifts internally, quietly, subtly, but permanently. You move from searching to being, from wandering to walking, from questioning everything to trusting something again, from lost to guided. And that shift matters more than you realize, because most people don't stay stuck because they don't know what to do. They stay stuck because they refuse to acknowledge where they actually are. They're too busy arguing with reality, too busy wishing they were further along, too busy comparing their chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20. But recognition changes that. Recognition says, this is where I am, and that's not a failure. Recognition says, this moment counts. Recognition says, I'm allowed to begin from here. And if you know someone, just one person, who's been calling themselves lost, someone who keeps saying, I don't know what I'm doing, someone who feels behind, confused, disconnected, or off track, someone who's been following everyone else's map while quietly ignoring their own compass, share this with them, not to fix them, not to pressure them, just to remind them. Ask them to declare it too. I recognize where I am, because sometimes we don't need answers. Sometimes we need permission. Permission to stop chasing a version of life that was never ours. Permission to stop apologizing for our timing. Permission to stop treating our own journey like it's a mistake. And if this resonated, if you felt seen instead of instructed, subscribe so we can keep walking this path together. Not as someone who has it all figured out, but as someone who's learning how to listen inward instead of outward. And if Super Thanks feels right, every bit helps me create content that actually matters. Content that speaks to the parts of us we usually ignore, instead of just filling space. But real talk for a moment. You being here, present, listening, open, I never take that for granted. Thank you. Because the truth is this: you've never been lost, not for a single moment. Lost is a story you told yourself because your position didn't match the map's predictions. Lost is a label you accepted because your journey didn't look like everyone else's. Lost is a feeling that emerged from living in comparison instead of connection. You weren't lost. You were listening to the wrong voices. You were measuring yourself by milestones that weren't designed for you. You were chasing timelines that didn't account for your depth, your healing, your detours, your becoming. But you can't be lost when you're following your own navigation. You can't be lost when you're honoring your own truth. You can't be lost when you finally recognize that where you are is exactly where all your authentic choices, conscious or unconscious, have led you. And from here, from this place of recognition, you don't need to search for the path anymore. You don't need to overhaul your entire life. You don't need a 5-year plan. You don't need clarity on everything. You just need to take the next step your compass is pointing you toward. That's it. Not the whole journey mapped out. Not the perfect answer. Not the guarantee. Just the next true step. The honest conversation. The boundary you've been avoiding. The thing you know you can't keep pretending about. The choice that feels real instead of impressive. And when you do that, when you finally trust your internal compass over the external map, you'll understand something that changes everything. The path you've been searching for isn't out there waiting to be found. It's behind you. Every step you've taken, every choice you've made, every moment you've lived, especially the ones you judged yourself for, that's the path. You weren't walking toward it. You were creating it. You were building it with every decision, every mistake, every pause, every redirection. Even when you thought you were standing still, you were laying foundation. Even when it felt like nothing was happening, something was forming. And the moment you recognize that, the moment you see that your path has been forming beneath your feet all along, you realize something quietly profound. You were never lost. You were just refusing to look down and see where you've been standing. So let me ask you something before this moment passes. How much longer are you going to follow a map that was drawn for someone else, while ignoring the compass that was calibrated specifically for you? How many more years will you call yourself lost, while standing exactly where your truth has guided you? The compass is still pointing. It never stopped. It's been patient. It's been steady. It's been waiting for you to stop doubting it and start listening again. It's been waiting for you to trust it over the voices that told you they knew your path better than you did. You're not lost. You've never been lost. You just forgot how to read your own navigation. But you remember now, don't you? You feel it. That pull. That quiet knowing. That sense of direction you can't fully explain but can't ignore anymore. That's not confusion. That's your compass. And it's been pointing home all along. The only question left is this: are you finally ready to follow it?